Good afternoon. Today we are going to deal with the topic sexism and advertising. And to introduce this topic, I would like to explain why to choose sexism and advertising. Well, first of all, gender equality has become an outstanding issue all over the world, and especially if we talk about education, it has been included in all teaching programs in developed societies. And the reason for that is that we just need to look at the news every morning, and we see cases of gender violence in which women have been killed by their husbands. Here in Spain, we don't need to go too far, but if we go abroad, we can see for instance, in the Near East, women which have been deprived of some rights, such as the vote. They cannot even drive a car, or the most important for me, in some cases they cannot go to school, okay, or they have to go to separate schools. So, and the most important thing, and the one it is more linked to our topic, is a lot of women around the world being sexually exploited. This represents a big challenge for our generation and the future ones. And it is said that education is the key to solve this problem. But we need to understand that education has changed within the last 50 years. And societies have a different way to have the information, different sources of information. 50 years ago, it was the teacher or the books that had the information and all the knowledge. But nowadays, we can find a lot of information everywhere, in the internet, the mass media. So there is an important kind of company within this mass media, which is the advertising companies, which have a lot to do in relation to solve this problem. Because those companies have become so powerful that they can fuel the economies of the countries. They can even set the basis. Thank you. Set the basis for a war between regions or countries. And companies such as Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Facebook have the power to change the gender violence and the sexism situation, because the advertising has become a product itself. Sometimes when we see an advertising of those companies, we don't know if they are selling Coca-Cola or they are selling a way of life. So if we are able to change the way of life they are selling, we will success. Ending with the introduction and getting to the approaches of the topic itself, we will develop, me and my mates, different approaches of the topic, such as the real influence of colors in gender, the evolution of gender in human beings from the very beginning of their lives, the past and present of advertising, and some tips to detect sexism in advertising. The first approach is the influence of colors in gender, and we could start with a question saying, why do we have to wear pink or blue clothes if we are a baby boy or a baby girl? Is it really a gender signifier for them, or is it a Western fashion? Let me say that those colors were used in this respect prior to World War I, but it was in the 1940s that pink became the established color for female. Okay, this was possibly due to new chemical dyes being invented, which allowed to wash children's clothes in hot water, not fading. But I've read some pages about it, and there is no agreement about that. What is true is that at that time, blue was considered as the color of seriousness, loyalty, studies, and even it was associated to sailor suits. On the other hand, pink was associated with childhood and softness. But if we go back 50 years, in the early 1900s, we can find some documents, papers, and cards that show just, let's say, the opposite. Both colors were suitable for both boys and girls, and in fact, in some cases, pink was said to be more suitable for boys, as it was considered to be a more stronger and decided color, which is funny according to what we have now. And blue was associated with something delicate and dainty. Well, and my question is, but all these rules, all these fashions, are they related to science? Are they related to human biology? Well, according to an article publishing on the BBC, toddlers, which are babies which cannot walk yet, have no preferences on colors. Okay, but when they grow up, 2 or 3 years, they start to develop them, and it is mostly based on their environment.
It's okay.
Mostly based on their environment and what they see. We could make a parallelism with a group of women that was studied in this article, adult women, which rejected pink color, and after finding out why, they found that it was because it was linked to breast cancer campaigns, the pink color. So, as a conclusion of what is blue and pink issue about, we could say that colors are linked to our behavior, because 80% of the information we process in our brains comes from a visual sense way. Okay, so the gender stereotypes in relation to colors are mostly based on fashions and historic conventions more than science. And to speak about science and how gender has developed in human beings, I welcome Christina to go on with the presentation.
Okay, thank you.